Have you ever been going about your day, everything's fine, and then bam? It feels like a tiny construction crew just started working inside your head? You're not alone. Headaches are one of the most common health complaints worldwide, but have you ever stopped to wonder what's actually going on in there? Why do we get them? Well, today, we're going to put on our detective hats and investigate the mysteries behind that pesky head pain. First, let's get one thing straight. Your brain itself doesn't have pain receptors, so it can't feel pain. I know that sounds crazy, right? When you have a headache, the pain you feel is coming from the nerves, blood vessels, and muscles that cover your head and neck. These structures can become inflamed or irritated, and they send pain signals to your brain, which then says, "Ouch! Something's not right up here." So what's triggering these signals? The causes are incredibly diverse, and that's why identifying your specific trigger can sometimes feel like a puzzle. Let's break down the most common culprits, starting with the two major categories, primary and secondary headaches. Primary headaches are the main event. They aren't caused by another medical condition. The headache itself is the problem. The most famous one is the tension-type headache. This is your classic run-of-the-mill headache. It often feels like a tight band is wrapped around your head, a constant, dull ache on both sides. What causes it? Stress is a huge factor. When you're stressed, the muscles in your neck, scalp, and jaw can tighten up, and that tension is what leads to the pain. Think about a long, stressful day at work. You're hunched over your computer, your shoulders are up by your ears. Sound familiar? That physical tension directly translates into a tension headache. Poor posture and fatigue are also major contributors. Next up in the primary category is the mighty migraine. A migraine is so much more than just a bad headache. It's a complex neurological event. The pain is often a severe, throbbing, or pulsing sensation, usually on just one side of the head. But it doesn't stop there. Migraines often come with a whole crew of other symptoms: nausea, vomiting, and extreme sensitivity to light and sound. Some people even experience an aura before the migraine hits, which can include seeing flashing lights, zigzag lines, or even having temporary blind spots. While the exact cause of migraines is still being researched, scientists believe it involves a wave of abnormal brain activity that affects nerves and blood vessels. Genetics play a big role, so if your parents get migraines, you're more likely to as well. Common triggers include hormonal changes, certain foods and drinks like aged cheese or red wine, stress, and changes in your sleep pattern. The third major type of primary headache is the cluster headache. These are rare but incredibly severe. They're called cluster headaches because they occur in cyclical patterns or cluster periods. The pain is excruciating, often described as a sharp, burning, or piercing sensation, typically located in or around one eye. The attacks can happen multiple times a day for weeks or even months, and then disappear for a while only to return later. The exact cause is unknown, but it seems to be related to the hypothalamus, a part of the brain that governs our biological clock. Now, let's move on to secondary headaches. These are symptoms of another underlying problem. Think of them as your body's alarm system, telling you that something else is going on. One of the most common causes of a secondary headache is dehydration. Your brain is about 75% water, and when you're dehydrated, it can actually shrink slightly, pulling away from the skull. This process triggers the pain-sensitive membranes surrounding the brain, resulting in a headache. The good news? This one is often easily fixed. Downing a glass or two of water can sometimes make a dehydration headache disappear within an hour. It's a great reminder to keep sipping water throughout the day, not just when you feel thirsty. Ever heard of a caffeine headache? This can go two ways. Too much caffeine can trigger a headache in some people. But more often, it's caffeine withdrawal that's the problem. If you're used to having your morning coffee, and one day you skip it, you might find yourself with a throbbing headache by the afternoon. Caffeine constricts the blood vessels around your brain. When you stop taking it, those blood vessels expand, leading to a rush of blood flow that can cause a headache. What about your diet? Certain foods and additives can be headache triggers for some individuals. We already mentioned aged cheeses and red wine for migraines. But other common culprits include processed meats containing nitrates, and the food additive MSG or monosodium glutamate. A hangover headache is another classic example. Alcohol is a diuretic, which means it makes you lose fluid and can lead to dehydration. It also causes your blood vessels to expand, both of which are a perfect recipe for a pounding head the next morning. Let's not forget about our environment. Changes in weather and barometric pressure can trigger headaches, especially migraines in sensitive people. Bright, flickering lights, loud noises, and even strong smells from perfumes or chemicals can also set off a headache. Another frequent cause is eye strain. In our digital world, we spend hours staring at screens. This can strain the muscles in and around our eyes, leading to a headache that's often felt in the front of the head or behind the eyes. If you find yourself getting frequent headaches after reading or computer work, it might be worth getting your vision checked. Uncorrected vision problems are a sneaky cause of persistent headaches. And then there's the sinus headache. When you have a cold or allergies, your sinuses, the air-filled cavities in your face, can become inflamed and blocked with mucus. This creates pressure that you feel as a dull, throbbing pain in your cheeks, forehead, and around your eyes. The pain often gets worse when you bend forward. While most headaches are harmless, secondary headaches can sometimes signal a more serious issue. Headaches that come on suddenly and are extremely severe, often described as the worst headache of your life, or headaches that are accompanied by a stiff neck, fever, confusion, or weakness on one side of the body, require immediate medical attention. These can be signs of serious conditions and should never be ignored. So how can you manage your headaches? The first step is to become a headache detective. Keep a diary. When a headache starts, write down the time, what you ate and drank that day, how much you slept, your stress levels, and any other relevant details. Over time, you might start to see a pattern emerge. Is it always after a stressful meeting? Or on days you skip your morning coffee? Once you identify your triggers, you can work on avoiding them. This might mean managing stress through techniques like meditation, yoga, or deep breathing. It could mean being more consistent with your sleep schedule and staying hydrated. Making simple lifestyle adjustments can make a world of difference. Gentle neck stretches, taking regular breaks from your screen, and ensuring your workspace is ergonomically set up can help prevent tension headaches. For most occasional headaches, over-the-counter pain relievers can provide relief. However, it's important not to overuse them, as this can lead to rebound headaches, where the medication itself starts causing the pain. In a nutshell, headaches are your body's way of communicating. They might be saying, "Hey, you're stressed out and need a break," or "Please give me some water," or even signaling a more complex issue like a migraine. By listening to these signals and understanding the potential causes, you can take control, reduce their frequency, and get back to feeling your best. Remember, if your headaches are severe, frequent, or changing in pattern, it's always best to consult with a doctor. They can help you get an accurate diagnosis and create a treatment plan that's right for you. Thank you so much for joining me today to unravel the mystery of headaches. I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.